This is probably the most homophobic experience I've ever encountered personally in my entire life. Hey, it's Josh, and I need to tell you what has happened to me because I cannot believe it. First, though, just to get it out of the way, this is not my dog. It's my brother's dog. I'm dog sitting. And if it looks like there's something in my teeth, I just had dental surgery, so there's some stitches in a tray. But that's another story for another time because this one really takes the cake. I don't think you're going to believe it because I still can't. So in my last video, I mentioned that my fiance Heath and I are going to take some time to plan our wedding. So I probably wasn't going to be making videos for a while, but we focus on that. And here I am a week later making a video because we have hit a crazy snag that I never expected. In a previous video, I mentioned that we were debating where to have our wedding, and we decided we would have it in Puerto Vallarta. We both really like it. It's gay friendly. We've been there multiple times. Seems like a great place for a destination wedding. We have 40 to 45 people who are gonna come and would like to go there as well. So all we had to do was find the perfect all-inclusive resort. So we looked around, we found one that was a good location, seemed to check off all of our boxes, and it was the Sheraton Buganvilias Convention Center and Resort. So I go to the wedding section on their website, fill out their form, which is basically for any kind of group booking, with all the information and submit it. And then we wait, and we wait, and we wait some more. Nothing's coming through for the whole time that I'm gone in South Africa. So then when I get back, I give them a call. So there's a toll-free reservation line on their website. So I call that number and I get this message asking if I want to win a free cruise, which seems really strange, but I've called the Sheraton. It's not like they're calling me, and this is a reputable company. So I'm like, sure, I'll push one because yeah, I'd like to win a cruise, whatever. And it says, congratulations, you've won. So I'm like, what? And I get transferred to this person and she says, congrats, you've won the cruise. Here's all the info. It's so great. All we need is your credit card to put through the taxes. And I'm like, what is going on here? I called the Sheraton and this just seems like a scam. And she's like, well, this is just a one-time thing. And when you call again, you'd be put directly through, but you won the cruise. So you just have to pay this fee and you get a cruise for two. I'm like, okay, well, I'll call you another time to do that. Right now we're trying to book our wedding. And she's like, no, you have to pay for it right now on this call with me. So we're like, forget it. No, just put us through to the hotel. Never mind. So she's like, okay, and goes to put us through to the hotel. And we get this message saying the number you've called has been changed. You'll now have to pay something like $3.98 to be connected. And so this is on speakerphone, and Heath and I are like, what the heck is going on? And I call the direct line, the actual local number in Mexico. So I get an answer, and I ask to speak to somebody who deals with weddings. They transfer me, I get a voicemail, so I leave a message. And we wait for a call back, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and nothing comes. So then I decide to call them again, and I make the mistake of calling the toll-free reservation line that's listed on the Sheraton's website. And again, it takes me to this message asking if I want to win a free cruise. So this time I push no, thinking that will just transfer me through. Well, it transfers me to the message again that says the phone number has changed that you're calling and you need to pay to be connected. What the heck? So I called the local direct number again, asked to speak to somebody in the weddings, get put through to somebody who actually answers. I say, look, we're trying to book a wedding, really any date in like the third week of April. There's going to be 40 to 45 people staying at your resort. Can we get some information, please? Sure. Let me take your email address and I'll send it to you. Great. Here's my email address. I spell it out very carefully. Great. She's going to send us the information. So we wait and we wait and we wait and nothing comes through. So I call again. And this time I ask to speak to a manager. She answers the phone. I say, hi, are you a manager? Yes. Okay, look, I've been trying to book a wedding at your resort. I filled out the form. I left a voicemail. I spoke to someone. I can't get any information. What do I need to do here? Also, your toll-free number doesn't work. At least calling from Canada, it puts me through to some sort of scam. And she's like, oh, okay, let me just transfer your call to someone. She transfers me to the same wedding person I'd already spoken to. Whatever. I say to this person, look, I haven't received anything from you. I gave you my email address. Nothing's come through. So she gets my email address again and waits on the phone to make sure that I actually received the email. So hallelujah, finally I've received some information. So we look through it and then I've got some questions I want to ask her. So I call her and I get the voicemail again. So I leave a voicemail message. Please call me back. Just have a few questions. I think it'll just be easier to just talk it out on the phone. We wait and we wait and we wait. And guess what? She doesn't call me back. So then I call again. And this time she answers the phone and I say, look, I have left you 2 voicemail messages and you've never called me back on either one. And she says, well, I don't have voicemail, so you couldn't have left a voicemail message. I'm like, yes, you do. I have called twice and left a voicemail message. It picks up, it talks, it beeps, and then I talk. I left a message twice. And she's like, well, that's impossible because there's no voicemail at this extension. I'm like, well, there is. There's probably a lot of messages waiting for you. But anyway, we're on the phone now. I have some questions for you. So I go through the questions. She gives me the answers, blah, blah, blah. One of them is, I had asked originally for her to include information on photography and videography. And in her email, she said that she'd be able to give that information once we confirmed the booking and paid the deposit. So I said in this call, I'd like to know how much we're looking at for a photographer and videographer. And she says again, I can only tell you that once you've booked and put down the deposit. I'm like, well, why? Do they not work for you? Is it like third party? And she says, no, they work for us. I'm like, well, then you can tell me how much it's going to cost before I sign the contract for extra services like a photographer and a videographer. So she's like, okay, well, let me look into it and then I'll get back to you with what I figure out. So, okay, fine. Hopefully she'll actually email me this information. Then we're just going through some other minor things. And then I just think, as I'm sort of like looking through the list of what's included, like one of the things is it says there's a bride bouquet and the groom boutonniere. So I just think to, like, honestly, very subtly say, like, oh, and, you know, this is a same-sex wedding, just in case that makes any difference. And she's like, oh, well, we don't specialize in same-sex weddings, and, you know, there's other venues that do, and this isn't really something that we deal with, and just goes on to this very long, weird, rambling answer to my question, where I basically was just saying it so we could have 2 boutonnieres instead of a bouquet and a boutonniere. Like, she's making a huge deal out of it. It's on speakerphone, so Heath and I are looking at each other like, what is going on? It almost sounds like she's trying to tell us to go book somewhere else. So I actually eventually cut her off and say, look, it's not like we need anything changed. I was just bringing it up so that there's not like a bride and groom thing. It's a groom and groom. That's all. And she's like, okay, well, look, I need to check with someone to just confirm wedding dates because we do have some tentative bookings. So let me check with them and the videographer, photographer thing, and then I'll get back to you. So Heath and I are like, that was so weird. Like, we don't know what was going on with that, but whatever. Lost in translation, maybe. So, of course, we wait and wait and wait. Nothing comes through. So then I give her a call, and guess what? I get her voicemail, which doesn't exist, and leave a message on it, which I guess no one's going to listen to anyway. So immediately follow that up with an email. And I say, hi, wondering if you've heard anything about the dates and prices for videography and photography. We're very anxious to get this booked so that all of our guests can book their time off and make their plans and get this all set. And she emails me back today and says this. Hi, Josh. I'm infinitely grateful that you've thought of Sheraton for your big day. However, our hotel and our staff is not specialized to carry out an equal wedding, and we would not like to take your wedding as a trial and error, and our service could be poor compared to what characterized Sheraton, because we know and we are aware that it's your special day for you and your fiancé, and do not want that by our non-specialized service, some conflict can be generated on your big day. My apologies. I could highly recommend you Westin or Marriott. They are our family brands, and they do have this specialization. What? So you're telling me that the Sheraton can't have a gay wedding, but I should go to a family brand instead? This doesn't make sense on so many levels. One, this is in like the heart of Puerto Vallarta, like the gay city in the gay area, and you're a major brand and you're telling me that you can't accommodate same-sex weddings. Two, what do you mean specialize in it? Why does anybody have to specialize in a same-sex wedding? 95% of our guests are going to be straight. We're basically the only gay ones and maybe 1 or 2 other people. So there's not much to specialize other than it's going to be a groom and a groom instead of a bride and a groom. I don't know if she thinks we're going to show up in Speedos with go-go dancers, and we expect the officiant to be wearing leather chaps. Like, this is just a normal wedding. It just happens to be with two guys. And our wedding includes a ceremony that's like on the beach, like separate from everybody else. So if you were worried about other people seeing it, like that's not even part of it. It's not like we're getting married right in the resort or like in the restaurant or something where all the other people are. And why wouldn't you be able to accommodate it? Like, why don't you specialize in it? It's 2019 and you're a hotel. Everybody knows, like when I go to travel conferences, the LGBT market is a huge travel segment with often more disposable income to spend on trips. And you don't specialize in that market. And so here I am asking to book a wedding for 40 to 45 people who want to stay at your all-inclusive resort, and you're turning me down solely for the reason that we are a same-sex couple. It's outrageous. And again, this isn't some little private no-name brand. This is the Sheraton. And not just, well, just so you know, like we're not fully trained, we're working on it. Just no, we don't specialize in this, and so we can't let you have your wedding at our resort. It blows my mind. And you know, it's not like I was keeping it a secret that I was gay. My profile picture on all my social media is me with a Mr. Gay Canada sash. Not that she has to look into who I am, but if anything, I would have thought that the hotel would be like, wow, look at this guy. He's Mr. Gay Canada 2019. He's a social media influencer. He's a YouTuber, Instagrammer. He's got a TV segment. We should probably offer him a discount. Like, we gotta get this guy here, and maybe he'll share about the resort on his social media. Like, instead of giving me some kind of cool offer, when they find out I'm gay, they just take it all back. So now we're back at square one. We do not have a venue to get married at. People are freaking out because they want to book this, plan this in their holidays. We are freaking out because we cannot find a place. We finally found one. And this is the issue. Just never expected this. And maybe that's just privilege showing about how lucky I've been to not have really experienced any real homophobia in my life, that this just came out of nowhere. Just sort of a little side mention of like, oh, by the way, if you don't know that Heath is a boy's name, we're the same sex. We're mostly bringing people who are like 60 plus and a couple families with their kids. Like, this is not going to be any different than a straight wedding. But no, can't do it at the Sheraton in Puerto Vallarta. So I don't know if this is the policy for all Sheratons, but as you know, if you watch any of my videos, I'm primarily a travel vlogger. I travel all the time, and you best believe if they don't figure out a way to resolve this, I will never stay at a Sheraton again. So I want to know what their policy is, and if this is across the board at all Sheratons or just this location, if it's just this employee. And in the meantime, we need to find some other place that can accommodate us for our wedding that is happy to have a gay couple and doesn't think it's an issue when it's not, or at least shouldn't be. So the whole thing really just blows my mind from start to finish. From the fact that if you're in Canada at least and you call that toll-free number, it gets put through to a scam. If you try to leave a voicemail for the wedding person, they don't get it because the voicemail doesn't exist. If you try to speak to a manager, they just transfer you back to the same wedding person. And if you're LGBT, you're not welcome there. I mean, could you imagine if they were like, sorry, we don't specialize in interracial couples, so you can't be here, or we don't specialize in black couples, or we don't specialize in Jewish couples. I mean, what the heck? How are you discriminating like that? Especially when I haven't actually asked you to change anything. I just was like mentioning it and then even clarified, well, just that we might need 2 boutonnieres instead of a bouquet and a boutonniere. Anyway, I don't want to go on, but I'm just extremely frustrated and shocked and upset that I'm experiencing this, because it's not like I'm trying to book a wedding in Uganda. This is Puerto Vallarta. It should not be an issue. And you are a hotel. You should specialize in accommodating diversity and inclusion across the board. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I've clearly put the dog to sleep. Hopefully I haven't put you to sleep. I'll keep you updated on what eventually happens. But for now, who knows? Fingers crossed we can get married in April 2020 and it'll be a beautiful, joyous day. I just don't think that's too much to ask for, even if we're gay.